Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's My Guy Knows a Guy on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel. It's another NBA Betting Today live stream. It's Sunday. The playoffs are right around the corner. The play-in tournament's right around the corner. Some teams are not playing fair regarding the injury reports right now. Shout out to everyone that's been patiently waiting in the chat. Let's get to the schedule today. Lots of games. Yesterday wasn't the most interesting schedule to me. This schedule is a bit better, but as I said, some of the teams are not playing fair on the injury reports. We'll go through some of the games. I'm not going to break down every single game, but I'm definitely going to go through the early games and a couple of the later games, give you some insights, some picks, some data, bring some stuff up on the screen. And actually, I just started, bro. I just see you in the chat. We're going to get started. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's make it another profitable day in the NBA. Just so you guys know, I posted a video about the Los Angeles Lakers play-in tournament chances, which are very slim. I just laid out the scenario of how I think the next 5 games are going to go. It's a pretty short video, so definitely check that out on the channel if you're interested in that, or if you're betting on the Lakers-Nuggets game this afternoon, which is going to be huge. We're going to start off with the Washington Wizards on the road against the Boston Celtics. We have a Celtics team that's currently giving up 12.5 points, a total of let me just make sure it didn't change. It actually went up by half since we already went live, up to 223 right now. This is a Celtics team that's 1.5 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, sorry, behind the Miami Heat, and they're a half game behind the Bucks. Not really sure which of those teams wants to get the top seed. There was a lot of narrative-based stuff about teams dodging the Brooklyn Nets. Nothing really solid came through other than anecdotal stuff that we saw watching the games. You know, there are a few mysterious endings to Miami Heat games that made a lot of people think that some of these teams are tanking to dodge the Brooklyn Nets. But the Nets are losing in their own right. That's an entirely different conversation. We have a Celtics team giving up 12.5 points. We have Jason Tatum listed as probable. Which implies a 75% chance to play today. They can beat the Wizards without him. But if you remember back on January 23rd, Jason Tatum did drop 51 points. It's actually crazy that I'm referring to that game because he was in a shooting slump at that time. I took him to go over his 3-point prop when he scored 51. I wish I had him laddered, as they say, his points laddered up all the way up to 40 plus that day. He has a distinct matchup edge against this Wizards team that doesn't really possess a solid wing defender who can also handle the ball. This is a Wizards team that is very lacking in guard play as well. I know they have some veteran leadership in Thomas Satoransky, but this is a team that blew out the Mavericks. It was a playoff style game for the Wizards. They don't have a playoff caliber roster, but they definitely threw the kitchen sink at the Dallas Mavericks in a blowout win on Friday night. They definitely took the public's money then. I was actually a bit scared of going against the Wizards then because we're noticing a trend of a series of erratic results for the Wizards at home against the point spread. But now the environment has changed. They're playing against the Celtics, a team that has a smothering defense, even without Robert Williams, although they did overlook the Indiana Pacers. They allowed 123 points. Leaky defense. If you look at some of the comments coming out of the locker room after the victory against the Indiana Pacers, Marcus Smart was not pleased. Ime Udoka was not pleased. They don't want Robert Williams to be the one person associated with their defensive improvement this season. You don't want your defense to deteriorate when one key guy goes down. It makes the entire ship look bad. I can really see the Celtics emphasizing the defensive side of things against the Wizards today, trying to smother them, keep them under their team total, possibly keep the full game under as well. I have a strong lean towards the Celtics in the first half. The only thing that's putting me off on this is, one, the Jason Tatum status, although I would take the Celtics to cover even with Jason Tatum's injury status. What worries me more in this game is the early tip-off. We've seen the Celtics have a run of poor performances in early scheduled slot times. So we're just keep your eye on both the injury report, keep your eye on the odds. But I definitely think full strength without Robert Williams, of course, full strength without Robert Williams. This is with Jason Tatum in the lineup today. I think the Celtics can suppress these guys. I'm probably going to wait until the last second, but I actually like the first quarter under 56.5 here. The Celtics offense has been on fire, but as I said, there's a lot of anecdotal stuff coming out of the locker room. I really feel like they have the tools to smother the Washington Wizards and not really help them get not really allow them to get themselves going. Most guard play, most three-point shooting has been smothered by the Celtics recently. The Pacers were able to compensate for that by just cranking up the pace to an unsustainable level. It's why they were able to stay within reach. I don't think the Wizards are going to be able to do that today, but it is worth noting that the Wizards were eliminated from playoff contention earlier this week, but they've won 4 of their last 5 games. The sudden infusion of Kristaps Porzingis has given them a different look. He's attracting a lot of defensive attention in the paint. It's freeing up a lot of space for three-point shooters. You're seeing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP. He's averaging a ridiculous amount of points over the last 5 games. I know it's 20 plus. He's scored 25 or hovered around 25 points in at least 3 of the last 4 games. His shooting has dramatically improved. Corey Kispert as well. Corey Kispert, Denny Avdia, KCP, these players have benefited greatly from the addition of Kristaps Porzingis because he's healthy. We know that Kristaps Porzingis has played star caliber basketball when he's healthy, but it's the defensive attention that he commands without Kyle Kuzma in the lineup that frees up space for a lot of these other shooters. I'd be looking at 1.5 threes for KCP, for Kispert, for Denny Avdia. For Denny Avdia, it'll probably be 1.5 plus money. Corey Kispert, we'll take a look at that as well. A lot of the prop markets, unfortunately for the Wizards, were not available. On the book that I was using, most of the prop markets, except for 3 games, were not available when I came on to live stream just now. So this is how we're going to fix it. Later on today, I'm going to go live again and do a props only session right here on YouTube. You guys make sure you guys join. And hey, I'm talking 100 miles a minute, but press like on the video and subscribe to the channel. More information later. I will be doing a props only session for the NBA right here on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel. So you guys make sure you come back for that. I'm going to do it before 5 o'clock. So I'll tweet out the exact time. I actually have to step out around lunchtime and then come back in later. So yeah, as I said, let me just see what's going on in the chat. Slow down for a second, 100 miles a minute. Yeah, I wouldn't say all reason, Jiggy Reese. I wouldn't say all reason, all season. The Celtics were a team that people were not ready to trust until after New Year. So I wouldn't say all season, but they definitely have the tool set to cover against the Wizards. It's a new look for them, so you can't really use the previous head-to-head matchups. It's a dramatically different Wizards roster from the January 23rd matchup. It's a dramatically different Washington Wizards roster. So just keep in mind with that, you can't really use the previous head-to-head matchup statistics as a solid handicap here. You have to really use the eye test for this one if you've been watching Celtics and Wizards game. I've watched an abnormal amount of Wizards games recently, okay? I've watched an abnormal amount of Wizards games recently because of some props that I've been playing with Porzingis and Corey Kispert. But my outlook on the Wizards is still, it's not as dark as it was, but it's not bright either. It's definitely not a bet on team. Okay, so definitely be careful. I think the Celtics defense is going to bounce back today. Once you start giving up more than 10 points in the NBA, you start to sweat baskets at the end of the game as well. Just remember that. You really start to sweat baskets in the stretch. Let's move on to another game though. Another early game. It's a 1 p.m. Eastern tip-off between the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are giving up 5.5 points to the Dallas Mavericks. The Bucks should be embarrassed. I mean, I know that they didn't have their big 3 in the game, but the Clippers rested their main guys too, and they put up 153 points against the Bucks the other day. Absolutely embarrassing for a game to not go to overtime and you allow that many points. I don't care who is playing. I expect the Bucks defense to tighten up just a bit today, just by virtue of embarrassment. But one thing I have to say, I'm not betting the Bucks, by the way. I'm not betting the Bucks. But I'm talking about the total, the pace of the game, and the defensive intensity with their main guys in the game, okay? So you really do see a lot of teams that get embarrassed like that bounce back. But, one thing I want to say about the Bucks is that they've taken their foot off the gas pedal overall this season. I'd say this is a team that had the luxury of already having built chemistry in the past. They built chemistry for their big 3 in the past. They didn't need to necessarily build much more chemistry. This year for the Bucks was about maintaining the health and strength of the core of their roster. They didn't have new additions to their roster like a lot of these other contenders where they have to integrate new guys. So that's why they caused a lot of pain to sports bettors all over the place. The Bucks, they're a champion, the NBA champions, but at this point in the season, they're not a profitable team, and it's highly unlikely that they're going to finish as a profitable team against the spread so far this season. The Dallas Mavericks, 44-33 ATS this season, above average on the road as well. This is a team, most of their damage came against the conference, as you can see, 33-17 ATS against the conference. But this is a Dallas Mavericks defense that has clamped down considerably. Jason Kidd, a lot of the stuff that I had in my mind about Jason Kidd, a lot of the stuff that I thought about him in the past and his coaching skills from his previous stint with the Bucks. This is a big matchup for him. This is a team that let him go, the Milwaukee Bucks. People didn't think too highly of Jason Kidd going into this season. A lot of off the court stuff. But Jason Kidd has these guys playing a level of defense that I didn't think was possible for this roster. They've really, really proven me wrong. And I won't be surprised with Luka, Luka Magic, the Celtics, we were on the wave early with the Celtics. We were on the wave pretty early, projecting that the Celtics have a decent shot to make some noise. I cashed a season win totals futures ticket with the Celtics after they turned their season around. I was high on this team. I said that this was going to be the season that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are recognized as a championship caliber duo. So, and they've exceeded those expectations so far in the regular season. The most important games are still yet to be played. But, one thing I will say is that the mainstream media definitely caught up to that. The Celtics, rightfully so, with the stifling defense that they were playing. They're getting all the articles written about them, all the mainstream media attention. Are they a sleeping giant? Can they knock off some of these other teams? In my personal opinion, when you look at this at the statistical profile of a defensive juggernaut, right? The Dallas Mavericks have been criminally underrated. Their defense is really, really good. It may be just as good as the Celtics. Honestly, when you really dig deep beyond the surface, this team is underrated going into the playoffs. We have a Luka team that, maybe he just couldn't beat the Clippers. The team was really, really playing a high level physical style of basketball. Maybe he just couldn't get past the Clippers in those years. Now we have an older Luka that it's looking like he's going to get a refreshed matchup. We don't know what Luka against the non-Clippers team is going to look like in the first round of the playoffs. So you're just getting back to this game, right? I actually think this is going to be a slower paced game. I lean towards the Mavericks here. The way that they lost against the Wizards, they were absolutely embarrassed that night by Kristaps Porzingis, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Luka came to play against a player that he reportedly despises in Kristaps Porzingis, but the rest of the team really, really let them down. Normally, I would lean towards the under in this scenario. Two teams that are coming off of embarrassments. I would lean towards the under for them to climb back up to their statistical averages defensively. But I give the Dallas Mavericks the edge here. If this is a coin flip game to me. To me, this is a coin flip game. And so I lean more towards taking the points in this scenario. Luka, let's look at the head-to-head matchups as well. Hit the like button and subscribe to the video if you're not already subscribed, or if you're watching on Twitter. Hit like and subscribe. And also join me on Twitter Spaces right after this video is done. I'd love to hear your opinions about your tickets. And hopefully some of the prop markets will be open by then. I'll share some more information. Join me on Twitter Spaces right after the video. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to get to a couple more of the games. Yeah, that's fair. The Celtics of the West without the publicity, right? I know Luka gets the publicity, but the rest of the team, some of these players are dramatically improved from three, dramatically improved defenders, and there's nothing else to attribute to that other than their individual hard work or just Jason Kidd and his coaching staff, Jason Kidd and his coaching staff. So, yeah, let's move on. Let's get to some of the good stuff. I'm going to add two picks before this live stream is done. 2 picks. Just wanted to go over some of the key games today. Sorry, I went back to the page. Yeah, like I said, check out the other video. Show some love on the video. Should drop a comment on the Lakers video that I just uploaded to the channel. So many videos coming up this week. on a few different topics. So just make sure you guys get ready for that. I'm going to help you guys get prepared for the playoffs. Tons of videos coming. I just started with the Lakers because they're a really, really popular team, and they are going through a lot of stuff right now. They are going through a lot of stuff right now when it comes to the postseason. So just go ahead and make sure you check out that video as well. Head-to-head record between the Mavericks. This is a cross-conference matchup, so the sample size is very small. Take it with a grain of salt. But the Milwaukee Bucks did defeat the Dallas Mavericks 102-95 back on December 23rd. They covered, and it went under 208 back then. If you guys don't remember, at the beginning of the season, hey, they don't even talk about that anymore. They played the season with a brand new ball. Are they still playing with that ball from the beginning of the season that made every game go under? Hit like if you remember those times when every game went under at the beginning of the season because of the Magic basketball. So in this game, I lean towards Luka, and I have a strong lean towards Jalen Brunson's assist to go over. I think Luka's going to get an outsized amount of defensive attention. I would be looking at Jalen Brunson's assists in this game. Just take a look at that. We'll be adding some stuff towards the end of the video. Perfect. So let me just get back to my notes. Yeah, I might try the Mavericks in the first half here. I might try the Mavericks in the first half or full game. Let's move on. Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers. I talked about the macro picture of the LA Lakers making the postseason in the other video, as I just plugged 10 times. Very excited about it. I'm very excited for you guys to watch it as well. I want to share my work. Let's go. Big game for both teams today. The Denver Nuggets are also, although the Lakers are getting all of the publicity, the Denver Nuggets are locked into a playoff battle in their own right. They just lost at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Shout out to everyone watching the video that cashed the T-Wolves with us on Friday. Easy win, right? We got kind of sweaty at the end, but this Denver Nuggets team does not play high quality defense, everyone. This is a very suspicious spread to me. I really felt like the Lakers were going to get a strong officiating push by the refs against the Pelicans the other night. They failed. I think a lot of the social media antics on social media throughout the day created a different environment betting-wise. The dollars were directed certain places. We're getting LeBron James tweets that he's shutting himself down for the end of this for the season. April Fool's joke. You're joking. April Fool's jokes. You're joking around while you have a big game against the Pelicans. Mind you, if the Lakers don't make the play-in tournament, the Pelicans will get the Lakers draft pick this year. Did anyone know that? If the Lakers don't make the play-in, their draft pick this year is going to the Pelicans. More salt in the wounds. This is a must-win game. We have a Nuggets team that is superior to the Lakers when it comes to ATS stats, when it comes to just what we're seeing on the court, right? But we have the potential big three on the court today for the Lakers. We have a suspicious spread. We have the narrative of the public turning against the Lakers. I won't be surprised if the Lakers win today, everyone. I won't be surprised if the Lakers win today. Credit to them if they do, and it's fair, but I think they're going to get a strong push from the officials today in this game. Jokic has done damage against the Lakers historically. We go back to the bubble days. But the Nuggets defense is a bit leaky. It's a bit leaky. We're seeing some stretches from the Lakers for where they're able to turn it on from beyond the arc. Some of the role players have been shooting well beyond the arc for stretches. They just haven't been able to put it together for 4 quarters, okay? They haven't been able to put it together for 4 quarters. I'm looking at Anthony Davis to have an outsized impact today, to have a meaningful impact today. The props were not available, as I said, but I'll be looking at some Anthony Davis stuff today. This is a get up or shut up type of game, straight up. If AD doesn't dominate today, I don't want to hear from him for the rest of the season. I don't want to hear from him because Russell Westbrook has been thrown under the bus, everyone. He's been mentally fractured. He's been thrown under the bus. It's not fair. He wanted that attention, right? Because his play has dramatically declined, okay? But I don't think Anthony Davis, they've deflected a lot of this stuff onto Russell Westbrook. I just really feel like Anthony Davis and Frank Vogel, we should be looking at these guys too. What Russell Westbrook deserves to be criticized. Okay, do not say, "Oh, I shouldn't." I'm picking sides or something. But Westbrook doesn't deserve 100% of the blame. Okay, he has clearly been decided to be the 100% scapegoat. All blame deflected off of LeBron James. But basketball wise today, I expect to see high quality stuff from LeBron and Anthony Davis today. I expect Frank Vogel to shorten the rotation. I think LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to benefit from that based on the reports. That I'm reading. So heavy lean towards the Lakers here to somehow get this one done, everyone. To somehow get this one done on the spread. I haven't bet it yet, but if I do, I will tweet it out. Just wanted to share the conspiracy stuff. I have my conspiracy hat on. I believe the play-in tournament race will come down to the final day between the Spurs, okay? Now, discussing the Spurs. The Lakers need the Spurs to finish these last 4 games 2-2 or worse for them to get in, and then the Lakers will have to go 3-1 or better. The Spurs have 1-game advantage over them, plus the tiebreaker. So it's just kind of crazy, okay? But we're already seeing funny stuff today. We saw it the other day. They caused damage to everybody the other day. They tried to with props. DeJounte Murray, we saw it. Don't let me get started on Grayson Allen, what Grayson Allen did for the Bucks. But there are 2 key pieces of news that happened the other day in the props markets that really, hey, conspiracy head on. Grayson Allen, DeJounte Murray, if you know, you know. DeJounte Murray pulled out of the game against the Blazers, the Portland Trail Blazers, just before the tip-off. When everybody had the bag on DeJounte Murray, we were seeing him and Pirtle, I believe, listed as questionable for today's game against the Portland Trail Blazers. Again, they probably feel like they can beat them without them. But, man, do the Spurs want to make the postseason? Or do they want to be in the lottery? What do they want? There are 2 different ways to look at this. Yeah, they do. They do see the Nuggets in their last game. Yeah, a lot of those guys are not going to have front office jobs in high capacity going forward again. Everybody's getting fired on the Lakers. Everybody. The masseuse, everybody, the medical staff, they're done. All of them. Frank Vogel's going to be fired. They could fire Frank Vogel before the play-in tournament even starts if they become mathematically eliminated. That's how bad things are for these guys. And my conspiracy hat is on. Be very careful with all 4 of these San Antonio Spurs games going down the stretch. Be very careful. I don't care who's playing for the Spurs. Be very careful with the Spurs in the final 4 games of the regular season. That's all I'm going to say about that. Lakers win today. Let's see. Hey, the Lakers have caused recession-level economic damage. Recession. If you're betting on the Lakers, hey, it's tough right now. It's tough right now. You might be in debt. You might be in big debt right now. Hit like on the video, subscribe. Let's go. I'm skipping the Pistons game. It's very telling the Pistons are favored on the road, though, in any capacity. It's very telling. The Pacers have tanked themselves, have done enough tanking to secure themselves, in my opinion, at least a top 5 pick. Give the Pacers and Malcolm Brogdon a top 5 pick for their tanking efforts. They went above and beyond. Malcolm Brogdon was never hurt. This guy was never hurt. Knicks, Magic, nothing on that for me. 76ers, Cleveland. Okay, this is going to be a tough game. As we know, Joel Embiid has a distinct matchup edge, especially without Jared Allen in the game, and especially without Evan Mobley in the game. We see the path to victory. For the 76ers as of late. Not for the 76ers. We see the path of victory for the Cavaliers as of late. Okay, and that's meant to just compensate for their lack of size up front with a dramatic increase in speed. Okay, the majority of their games have gone over without Jared Allen. It's not just because of a lack of rim protection. They're forcefully pushing the pace with Darius Garland. I hope you guys are catching some of the Cavs games because Garland really is balling. Let's move on to this Minnesota Timberwolves, Houston Rockets game. Before I jump off, and as I said, join me on Twitter Spaces after the live stream. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff here, and hopefully some of the prop markets are out. So join me on Twitter Spaces right after the live stream. Love to hear your thoughts. Let's move on to the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Houston Rockets, okay? I'm going to pull up something interesting in this game, but, Christian Wood was playing in those games. the Minnesota Timberwolves did have a certain level of dominance. They did show a high level of dominance over the Houston Rockets in their last 3 meetings, ATS. This is dating back to last season as well, okay? Just some big performances in the last 2 games. The Rockets don't have the personnel, everyone. They just don't have the personnel. From what I saw from the Minnesota Timberwolves, it happened as expected. A couple of blowout losses against teams with superior defenses. I didn't really even blame the T-Wolves for losing to the Celtics, for losing to the Raptors. The T-Wolves and the Celtics are better basketball teams than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Much better teams, actually, in almost every statistical category. The T-Wolves are a fun team to watch. They run up and down the court. They bode well for the future. But this team is paper mache on defense. But now you're playing against a Houston Rockets team. This is a perfect game for the Minnesota Timberwolves to further solidify themselves in the play-in tournament. At least they have an 84% chance to make the play-in tournament. They will have a 100% chance if they win today, okay? They know that they're going to go ahead and get these guys out of the way today. I like the T-Wolves to crush these guys. I actually like them at the half, though. I like the T-Wolves to crush these guys at the half. Alperen Şengün is a rookie that I rate highly for the Houston Rockets. He's questionable to return after a lower leg contusion. He's sat the last 2 games. High level of tanking. Another team, the Houston Rockets, just like the Indiana Pacers, they went above and beyond. But the Pacers really. What's up, Jay? Good morning, bro. Hey, I hope you feel a lot better, bro. I hope you feel a lot better, man. I know what you were going through, man, with the way you were feeling with the sickness stuff, bro. I just hope you're feeling better. Let's go, everyone in the chat. It's not LA's fault. Whose fault is it, Mitch? Whose fault is it? If it's not his fault, whose fault is it? The Lakers, man, I can't help but smile every time I talk about that team, bro. I swear. Let's get back to this one. I'll tell you guys something about the Rockets, okay? Because I follow Şengün closely. Şengün's going to be a star in the NBA. I don't care what anyone says. Şengün has Jokic potential in the NBA. Sosa said I was crazy for saying that, but watching 3 years, this guy has has good feet, man. Şengün's coming for the NBA. This guy dropped 27 points. The next day he's out. Come on, bro. The next day he's out. The Houston Rockets, they're all bought into massive amounts of tanking. Just look at John Wall's here, bro. John Wall. Come on, bro. The financial GOAT. Let's move on. Just having a little fun with it. Let me get back to the analytics. Having a good time right now. I'm gonna get into some of the deeper stuff right now. I think the T-Wolves are gonna get these guys out of the way by halftime. If you guys are noticing some of the trend here, trying to take some of these teams that have incentive early in some of the games, like the Raptors over the last couple of days. I tried this tactic with the Suns the other day, but I'll tell you right now, I'm never gonna fade the Grizzlies again. Not in the near future. It doesn't matter who's playing with them. I called out the Pelicans early the other night, Raptors early the other night, T-Wolves early the other night, and Suns. The Suns didn't come through, but I really think there was some suspicious stuff going on in that game. That's actually the last game I'm going to talk about, the Suns Thunder game. I'll get out of here. Brief thoughts on the Raptors as well. I'll talk about the Raptors. But yeah, basketball-wise, they just don't have the personnel when the T-Wolves decide to increase the pace. Like, they would have to have an anomaly performance from 3, okay? Which any team can shoot well from 3 in a one-off scenario. These are professional basketball teams, but the Houston Rockets are a disgrace to the NBA. Şengün is in. Yeah, he's in. And they're a disgrace to the NBA. I'm fading these guys. If they somehow compete, I would fade them at the half, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. This T-Wolves team, and we see that a lot of contrarian logic doesn't work with the T-Wolves as well. This is a team that's either going to lose a few in a row or win a few in a row. I believe the game against the Nuggets was a light switch moment. The next couple of games are much easier for the T-Wolves. I think they're going to go on a winning streak in dominant fashion, try to remind people who they are because, they fell victim to their schedule getting a bit more difficult. The Nuggets in altitude, it's a tough environment. They got out of there with a win. Jokic was trying to take that from them at the end of the game, though. The Celtics blew them out. Raptors blew them out. I think that they're going to continue the good times today, but the Rockets, this is a team that, hey, man, let's just all fade the Rockets. How about that? Giving up the full game spread is the T-Wolves, their defense, I'm hesitant to give it up, but I advise giving it up. I advise fading the Rockets here. I'm overriding what I feel in this game. I don't like the Houston Rockets, everyone. Let's move on. it actually goes back to what Jay Money said the other day. You saw what you tweeted about. I saw what you tweeted about the professional climate in professional sports these days. Imagine, I only had the chance to go to one NBA game this season, but what if I went to a game that where key guys are out? There's little kids that want to watch these games. People are paying for tickets for these games. It's just slap in the face sometimes. Let's move on. Let's move on to a game. I'm just going to give you guys some storyline thoughts right here because I'm buy on with the Raptors right now. I'm buy on with the Raptors. I know everyone knows that when this team is healthy, they're almost unbeatable. The statistics really, really do back that up. They have the #1 offensive rating in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors, when this starting five is healthy. The #1 offensive rating in the NBA. Nick Nurse has the Raptors up to 45 wins. I cashed their season win total over 35.5 wins. Vegas will never disrespect Nick Nurse again. They've exceeded expectations by 10-plus wins through COVID, through injuries, through OG Anunoby being out, Fred VanVleet having COVID, Siakam missing the first 6 weeks of the season. I don't want to hear any negativity about the Raptors as long as Nick Nurse is coaching. This is a real basketball team that does not take nights off. Sometimes in the past, the Raptors fell victim to overlooking their opponents. I think that they've been so disrespected that they've already gotten into a playoff mode. It was unthinkable a month and a half ago for the Raptors to climb up to the 5th seed. They're the 5th seed. Come on, bro. Tell the Bulls that's ours. I got the Bulls hat on, but that's our seed. That's ours, okay? And I hope we play Giannis in that first round. I'm telling you guys that right now. I hope we play Giannis in the first round. Basketball-wise, let's go back to this game right here. The Miami Heat. Tough travel environment for these guys today, okay? But this is a big game for Kyle Lowry. You guys don't really see this sort of coverage, but, on our ESPN, it's called TSN. We have like a SportsCenter program as well. It's similar, just very similar format to American SportsCenter. Man, they've been going crazy about Kyle Lowry's return to Toronto for 3 or 4 days. Mini documentaries, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Just now they had like a 20-minute thing. Kyle Lowry's only one guy. This game really, really does mean a lot to him. He said he misses the city of Toronto. Can't wait to play. But I just don't think – I'm still in the mindset that the Nets are trying to dodge the Nets. I don't care that the Nets are losing. Kevin Durant instills fear in his opponents. This line was, I believe, -2.5. It's up to -3.5. I don't think it's going to be easy because the Miami Heat have a veteran roster that can turn it on from three at any moment. But I actually didn't bet it. This is not a pick right now. I'm just giving you my opinions on this game. The Raptors, I think that they're going to perform. I just don't think it's going to be easy early on. I think a lot of people are going to fade the Heat off the travel spot in the first quarter, first half maybe. They still have the roster to compete, to compete. The suspicious activity that I've been seeing from the Raptors has been coming at the end of games. Okay, I mean not the Raptors, my bad. From the Heat has been coming at the end of games. I like to use that game that they played against the Knicks as a reference point. That was one of the shadiest games of the season. Just go back and watch the highlights. We do have a Raptors team that's been performing well away from home, but a lot of those games were in an environment. This stat here is diluted, because they weren't able to play a lot of those games at home. I mean, with fans. So I take that with a grain of salt. Let's see which version of the Miami Heat comes to play today. Let's see. Hit like and subscribe to the video, everyone. I really, really appreciate everyone watching. Big day of NBA basketball ahead. Big week of NBA basketball ahead. And also check out that video on the Lakers that I just uploaded earlier this morning. Try to make a video for you guys on the Lakers, discuss the postseason tournaments. There's a lot of Lakers fatigue in the mainstream media. I understand if you don't want to watch the video, but definitely check it out, support the channel, and hit the like button. Let's go. The Phoenix Suns have rested Devin Booker. They've rested DeAndre Ayton. They've rested Jay Crowder. I still think they're going to blow the OKC Thunder away today, largely because people are not going to bet on them today because of these injuries. I'm telling you, Devin Booker and Ayton, that's big. It's big. The OKC Thunder fielded one of the worst NBA rosters of all time the other night. Just go look at the box score. It's disrespectful to the NBA product, what they did. And they also shut down Pokusevski. Come on. Now he's questionable. But the other night, Pokusevski drops. I think he drops 15. He doesn't play the next night. Disgusting injury report here. They've done it for the last couple of years. I think the Suns are going to smoke these guys in the first half, everyone. I'm going to look up the first half line. They're just going to clamp down and not let them score. First half, Suns step on these guys and absolutely destroy them. JaVale McGee, Mikal Bridges, Chris Paul, they just go off today. Cam Johnson, they just go crazy. First half, they just crushed them today. I really feel like this is about to happen. Let me pull it up. Because it did change. Yeah, -9. Full game spread's 14.5, but the first half spread is -9. That's more than half of what the full game spread is. That's very telling to me that the Suns are going to come out crazy in the first half. First quarter might be a go-to, but I'm going to take the first half. I'm going to take the first half -9. It doesn't make sense for any team in the NBA to be missing this talent, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and to be laying that many points on the road. It really is an endorsement of how bad the OKC Thunder is. I'm going to take, you can actually get -8.5 on some books. I like the Suns -8.5 first half against the OKC Thunder to completely crush them. Now, there's one thing that does scare me in this game, and it still blows my mind. The OKC Thunder are 46-27 against the spread this season. 46-27-4 against the spread this season. Straight Vegas team. Straight Vegas pawn. This is a Vegas pawn. All right. 100%. Let's go, Raptors. Raised by dinosaurs. Let's go. As Jay Money said. Man, it's one of the funniest sayings, bro. I swear. Let's go. See, I'm taking the Suns in the first half. Everyone -8.5. First half. Let's go. Let's catch that. I think the Celtics defense is going to bounce back strong today. I think the Mavericks have a very strong shot to upset the Milwaukee Bucks today. And I think the T-Wolves are gonna perform well as well. I actually didn't bet on the T-Wolves and the Raptors just yet. If I bet on one of the two, I will tweet it out. Just going to monitor some stuff along the way. It actually doesn't make sense to wait for the T-Wolves as well, because on the Rockets side, all they can do is strip their roster down, right? Further up until the game, Şengün, but it's mostly priced in. For now, I did bet on, and I lean towards Jalen Brunson's assist as well. But the only bet that I'm going to lock in right now is the Phoenix Suns first half, -8.5. There are some books that still have the line. I still like -9 in the first half. I just will be extremely. This is not the Memphis Grizzlies, okay? This is not the Memphis Grizzlies with Dillon Brooks and some other guys that can still play defense. I will be shocked today if the OKC Thunder are competing at halftime. I will be absolutely shocked. I'm just going to say that right now. Half unit bet for me on the Thunder not the Thunder, on the Suns -8.5. Much love to everyone in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitter through the link, if you're watching on Twitter, hit the link up top. Come over to the app on YouTube. Frenzy Sports. I hope you guys like the banner. I just switch it up. I just said the sports predictions channel. Going to just try some new things. Let's all stay together. Let's all stay on the same page and attack the bookies. Let's go. Let's attack the market. Let's go. I'm going with the Suns first half -8.5 to step on the Thunder today. I'll let you guys know if I lock in that first quarter under for the Celtics. I'm a bit scared because their offense is in sync, but I do not project the Wizards offense to repeat their performance today against the Celtics. This is not a Dallas Mavericks team that may have overlooked them. This is a Celtics team that still has a bit to play for in the standings as well. Let's see how it goes defensively. Let's see what desire and intensity they come out with. I'm rambling now. Going to take a quick break and open up a Twitter Spaces. Come through, talk about your picks. If you would like, I'll talk about some of the prop markets. Jump off of there. Going to eat a quick meal, and then I'll open up the room. Everyone is definitely welcome. And there's a lot going on Twitter as well. Check out the Spaces as well. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So I will see you guys soon. Come through. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. And once again, quick plug. Check out the other video I did post on the YouTube channel about the Lakers. I calculated the Lakers postseason play-in tournament odds. If you are a follower of the Lakers, close follower of the Lakers, or you just want to bet on what's going on, there are some future stuff up. Check it out. It's just some interesting stuff to watch. And yeah, that's the NBA Betting Today live stream. I'm rambling. It's My Guy Knows a Guy. I'll talk about myself as well. Follow me on Twitter at My Guy Knows a Guy. See everyone soon. I'll come back on later to talk about some props. I'll come back on later on YouTube to talk about some props when the markets open for the rest of the games. Turn notifications on the channel so you don't miss any of the content coming through. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Best of luck to you as well, J Money, bro. Keep it going. Let's go to crush them. Let's go, everybody. Best of luck. Let's go. My throat's dry.